Hi everyone, it's Vache here from recordingstudio9.com, and today I will be reviewing a new studio gear that I recently purchased, which is the MIDI Controller, or they also called the MIDI Surface Device. And since I have not been able to find any review on these devices, so I thought I'll do a review on them. It is the WORLDE Easycontrol 9 MIDI controller. It's a very simple unit, and basically it's used to control the volumes or the panning, and few of the other options in your DAW, making it a physical controller to make it really easy to control rather than using the mouse. You might have actually seen me demonstrate one simple one using my Roland A49 MIDI keyboard, which has a couple of the rotary knobs on them, and to be able to use it. This actually extends it to even further. So without any further ado, let's get on with some of the details of this unit. Now, I was looking for a controller unit to extend my using of MIDI Surface devices, other than just relying on my Roland A49, just a couple of the knobs. And I found this unit, and it comes in a box like that, from WORLDE Easycontrol. And I purchased this from our trusty music dealer, Swamp Industries, down in ACT, Canberra. And I inquired about them. I said, how good are they, and how well it will work with my PreSonus Studio One or Reaper or any other DAW, basically. And their reply was saying that they're quite confident that it will work, and they said if it doesn't, return them to me, postage paid, and they'll refund their money back. So that's how confident they were that it will actually work. So I went ahead and ordered it, with a bunch of other things from them, and it arrived in a couple of days. Now, the unit itself, the only thing in the box were the actual unit in a plastic bag and the USB stick. Initially, it was a bit disappointing that it didn't have any documentation, even some writing or whatever to say how to connect or how to make it work. Though it is easy, there's nothing else that you can connect other than the USB cable at the end of it, and that connects to your USB computer. It's pretty straightforward, but one would expect some basic instructions saying thank you for purchasing, this is what it does, or even a CD that includes PDF manual, and maybe some drivers, that it does need drivers, as well as a few other things in there. There's a few controllers which I will talk about, and software that you need to download. Anyway, so but apart from that, it's very lightweight unit. It's not, from the looks of it, it's not as quality as some of the more expensive units you would buy, but for $50, it's very good price. So it's well worth the money. So instead of spending like $250, $300 for other brands, which I won't mention, that do similar things, this for the $50 is a perfect price for it. The sliders feel they have sort of nice feel to it, though plasticky. Everything is plastic. They do have nice feel to it. The rotary knobs, again, they do have nice, simple feel to it. The buttons, which are rubber buttons, they feel okay, not that bad. And there's also sort of another full 360 degrees knob there, and left to right, I guess, slider, and a few buttons here and there, and that's about it. So feel wise, it will do the job perfectly. Depends how often you're using it, how how much of it you want to use. To what I want to use, to be able to control up to 8 or possibly 9 volume controls as I'm mixing a song. So I can close my eyes and have my fingers on there and just adjust them and have a listen and feel the sounds of each instrument going up and down and so on, and maybe use some panning as well to put the instruments in the right on a virtual stage, as you might say. So in that sense it works out quite well. Now I had to actually go to the WORLDE website, which I'll put it down in the link, a link down in the description, so you can go and visit there as well to be able to download you know, either Windows or Mac drivers. Though you can just plug it in and it will actually work. You don't really need drivers, but putting the drivers in there as well as the special editor program that you can download that allows you to edit all of its settings in detail. So you can just plug it in, it will work straight away, but having the drivers is probably much better. It will work much better. Now with the instructions that I had to download and read, basically it has 9 groups of sliders, a rotary knob and a button, so each one of them is grouped together, so you'll be able to adjust correctly. I mean, you can assign that as a volume, you can assign that as panning, and you can assign that as a mute or select record or solo, whichever one you like to be. It would be nice if they had maybe another extra button there to be able to do either solo or mute and so on, but you can still program them separately. Obviously, if you are using this as a VST synthesizer for virtual instrument, to be able to adjust the sliders of you know, of the oscillators and so on, obviously you can assign them separately as well. But my main purpose of it is to adjust mixer volume, have a physical mixer volumes, and it does come with transport controls as well. You can see them. So it's got record, play, stop, fast forward and rewind, as well as loop. So you can assign them into your transport options of your DAW, so you can easily stop and play and rewind, and turn the loop on, so if you want to do a loop, and on and off and so on. And it does have a few other buttons that you can assign them for other things. From the documentation as well as with my testing, this rotary knob and these 2 buttons, and as well as this slider, so this section of the unit, you cannot edit it as such, which I will talk about later. So they are set and you cannot change them. Now, one of the other good things with it is that even though it's got 9 sliders, it does have up to 4 banks of settings. So using the editor program that you can download, you'll be able to select one of the 4 settings, which completely changes the control messages, the MIDI control messages that this device sends to your DAW. So you can easily say bank 1, that's my 9 first channels, up to 9 channels, and you press that bank button, go to the second one, and you will have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18 and so on. So you can actually switch into multiple options. Or let's say if you want to use it as mixer volumes, but at the same time you have a synthesizer VST plugin that you want to use it to, you can change the bank and the scene of the actual thing. So next time, let's say in bank 2 or bank 3, it could be controlling your VST plugin. So it's that versatile. You'll be able to program that in as well. And whether you're using the rotary knobs or the sliders and so on. So in that sense, it's quite versatile to use. It might look complicated using the editor program, but once you get used to it, it's quite easy to set it up. Especially if you want to set it up in Presonus, it makes it really easy. I will show you briefly how to do it in Reaper as well, and I'm sure any other DAW that you are using, you just have to read the manual and find out how the control messages being sent control what options in your DAW. Now, the MIDI control devices or surface devices, basically what their job is, every time you move a slider or a knob or a button, it basically just sends a MIDI control signal into your DAW that allows to change values in your DAW, whether if it's a slider or a rotary knob or a button, and that's basically what they do, and there's nothing special about them. So let's go to the PC, to my laptop, and have a look at the program, and I will do some narration of what I'm doing and what you can do, and so on. And the rest of it, basically, you can just play around yourself and learn and understand how they work, and how versatile and easy it will make your life, especially when you doing a mixing down of a song or mastering it and so on.
Once you have downloaded the program, there's no really any installation for the program. I've just put it under my documents and created a new folder called Easycontrol and unzipped it in there. I think it's a zip file that you get, and then basically just double clicking and running it, and because they actually provide multiple controllers, like the Easy Key as a keyboard and Easy Pad for like a drum pad, Easycontrol, which is the unit that I am demonstrating today. So we select that and it loads up the controller display, so you'll be able to select all the different buttons using either the side menu and all of the options, or you can just click that one there. So that's the rotary knob, the first one in that group, and then you can select and change the control code for it in the upper and the lower value for that rotary knob, or you can select the slider and give it a control code number and upper and lower value. And obviously with the buttons there's a slightly bit different. There is one additional option that you can select, is the behavior of it, whether if it's momentarily or a toggle, and depending of what you've selected, the on value and the off value is what you get. So momentarily, basically as long as you have your finger on it, it's sending the value on, and as soon as you let it go, you get the off value. But with the toggle, every time you press, it toggles between on and off. Quite straightforward in that sense. And obviously you can select those two buttons as well, but not this rotary knob, the 360 degree or the slider. You can even set the control codes for the transport option as well. The buttons for loop on and fast forward, record and play and so on. You can set them up as well. And now there's few things that also I should explain. Is this common here for scene 1, whether if it's you can select the MIDI channel for scene 1, and then also the what scene you want your transport common controllers to send it to as well. If a bit more detailed explanation might require, but probably out of the scope of this demonstration what that's for. Maybe another video I can do on that one. And in the other sense, you have scene 1, scene 2, scene 3 and scene 4 at the top. They represent the bank 1, 2, 3 and 4 on your controller. So even though, let's say you've got scene 1 control code 14 for the rotary, or control code 3 for the slider, and when you select scene 2 and you change that, let's say to 53, and let's say we change that to 54. Now if we switch back to scene 1, that means they sending control code 3 and control code 4, but when we select bank 2, which is scene 2, the same slider now will actually send control code 53 and 54 respectively, and so on. So that's how you can change control settings. One other extra thing that I should mention about the scenes is the scene common, is that you can have scene 1 controlling your mixer and using MIDI channel 1, where your scene 2, or let's say scene 3, even though it could be sending the same control code 3, but when you select the common for scene 3, you can select, let's say, MIDI channel 3, and then set your VST plug-in to listen to channel 3 control codes. That means scene 3 or bank 3 is now controlling your VST plug-in. So that's, not sure if I explained it correctly, but it is a bit complicated and detailed of how that works. So yeah, basically that's how you can set different scenes, different banks, and use different MIDI channels. And the hierarchy of a message going to your DAW is the MIDI channel, then the control code number, and then the value of what that, let's say in this case the rotary knob, or in this case the slider value that it will send. MIDI channel, control code, and then the value. So that's how that works. Hope that's easy enough to understand. So once you've done all of that, you go to communication, and then you send the data to the unit, and or if you like to read what's on there, obviously you can read it back as well. And once it's sent, then it'll straight away be ready to send those control codes on those MIDI channels. And once you're happy with that, you can even go and save the data on your computer. So even if you are using the unit for different DAWs, and you want different settings for each DAW, you can save and load and change whichever way you like it for each DAW. And yeah, so it's very, very intuitive. You can manipulate it any which way you like it. Very versatile. Well, I hope that was informative enough for you. So if you are after a MIDI controller or a Surface device to control your DAW or VST plugin, WORLDE Easycontroller 9 is probably something you can look for. And you can get them from Swamp Industries down in Canberra. There's another plug. I keep plugging Swamp Industries, even though I have no association with them. They just do great deals, I guess, for everyone. Yeah, and you can purchase it from them. I think that's probably the only place I've known that you can buy. I haven't done big research. But anyway, so anything else you'd like to know about the Easycontroller? If there's anything I haven't done yet, I will experiment it and report it back. So just write your comments below and I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. That way you'll always be kept up to date of all the things I review, all the gears I purchase and try them out. Any lots of new tips and ideas that I do, whether if it's in your DAW or if it's on a keyboard or and so on, VST plugs in and whatever that's related to music making. And if you haven't visited my website, which is recordingstudio9.com, you can visit there as well. There's a lot of information that I put in there as well.
And in the meantime, thanks for watching and see you next time. Cheerio.